we've got, when you first open the program, you'll see that we've got our search bar here, and we've got all our eyes. Well, if you've opened the right area, you'll have all your eyes at your disposal, so you can find the ones that you're looking for. And then by pressing any one of these, they come up in a full screen view. So when you're consulting, my recommendation is that this is where you show your clients their eyes. So it's got no chart overlay, but they can see the terrain that they've got to work with. And it's so impressive. People love theatre. You know, they love to see their own eye and you know, the terrain and any special markings that might be in there.
Yeah. So that's, I added, so your file that you've opened, I've only got 2 pictures in there. So I've done that, but it isn't a full screen.
Are you in the browser section?
So in the browser section, I've got the file and it's got my 2 eye pictures in there, and I clicked one of them. Oh, sorry, yes, that's where it's the bigger picture.
Yeah, so the browser gives you a full screen view.
Yeah.
And you can toggle between the eyes using this little set of arrows that you've got here.
Okay. Those arrows there. Oh, yep.
So this is just handy. I mean, when I first started to use the program, I was a little bit kind of clunky. You know, I didn't really know my way around so well. So this is what I used to use only with the client sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
So that I got to feel comfortable with just talking about the eye, and then maybe showing my chart to the person and pointing with my finger on the chart that, you know, I'd say, like, this area here is thus and so, and this is the pancreas, and there's another pancreas marking here. So let's just look at your other eye and see if we've got any other pancreas markings, and we do. So we've got, like, already we've engaged them completely, and especially since this person knows that they have a parent who's diabetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've absolutely captured their interest. So to put them into the studio where I'm going to put a chart on top, I go to this little blue button which says iStudio Transfer Image.
Yeah.
So I press that and it will go into the studio. I'm going to put both of them in there. And now I can go into the studio, which is the top left-hand screen. You've got a grey bar, so press that.
How did you put them both in there?
One at a time.
Oh, okay, yep.
So I have a left eye and hopefully a right eye.
So when you sent it to the studio, you then clicked the iStudio at the top.
Yep.
Yep.
And now
I only put 1 picture in.
That's okay. You only need 1 to learn what I'm going to teach you.
Yeah.
So once you're in there, you now have a whole range of tools. So if you put your mouse on any one of these little icons, you can see that this one here is to open an image. This one is
Mine doesn't seem to be doing this though. When I have, so I'm in the browser and I've exactly the same image as you. I've got my files and then I've got the eye pictures and I've selected the one and it's come up big.
Yeah.
When I've got that big one and it's on the screen, do I need to do anything to it or do I just click iStudio?
You just click iStudio.
So I'm clicking that, but then what should happen?
Well, there'll be a spinner. And then when it stops spinning, you go to iStudio and you'll be able to see that image has been transferred.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I don't understand why.
Let me see what happened then. Yes, I've got 1 image as well, the image in there is the one that I'd put in there from the other day when I
Yeah.
was playing around yesterday, but it's not connecting with the way that you've said there. So I'm clicking transfer image. Unless it seems to be, when I move across to there, all I've got in there is that image where it's a black screen and just a tiny eye.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine. I'll show you what to do.
Okay.
So you'll have, what has happened there, you have pressed the shrink button. So if you look at the top where you've got minus, double square and a cross, whoops, no, that's not it. Hang on. On the actual image itself, can you see you've got minus, square and crossed right-hand side, which allows you...
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not getting that same thing as you where it says scanned image, and I'm not getting any of that.
When you're in iStudio, show me your computer so I can see what you've got. Yeah. Okay. So if I go to, I've now got the same. You see what I've done?
Yeah.
I've now got black. So I've got to go up to my right-hand side.
Yeah.
And press the double square.
I see.
Not
yep.
the top one, the second one.
Okay. Yep.
And now you've got it.
Okay, and then all the millions of times that I clicked to transfer, they're all there, so I'll get rid of some of them.
But this is good because, you know, once you see this, you'll understand all those little mistakes when they come again. You'll know exactly what to do. You'll be like a pro.
So that one there is, can't seem to get rid of that one. Let's go back to browser now. So that's the one I want. We're transferring to the studio. I'm going to studio. I'm clicking that one, which is there, and then I want to make that. Now that is still, it's just a bit weird. It still won't go big.
Show it to me.
Nope.
Yeah, it's coming through the same again. You've got to just do the same process, top right-hand corner.
Yeah, I did that. So then when I go to big, it just does that.
Okay, so it means that you've got small size images. It's the only thing I can think of.
Now, I do know when I take photographs on my Mac and then somebody sends me them from a PC, I can't put the PC ones in my template because they're bigger.
Yeah, so it's a setting thing that you've got with your camera, I would say, or it might be your camera settings. So I mean, you can still work with them when they're little like that, but you can't see the detail.
Yeah.
If you go, I want you to do something for me. I want you to go to view. Hang on, I got view. No, go to zoom, which is above. So if you look at the first bar above the images, just above there is a zoom one, a zoom button. So on the second row from the bottom, you've got image
zoom,
zoom. Press zoom, and then set your, see how it's got 33%? There's a drop-down menu there. Try 100%.
Oh, mine is 100%, but I might go 200 then.
Or 150 or 175.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I've had to increase it to 200%.
So now show me your screen.
Still not.
Yeah, but at least, but that's the size you need to put a chart on it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's workable.
So just drag the corner so you can see the whole eye without the slider bars.
It's stuck in that top corner. It won't let me do anything.
Hang on, watch my screen. So if I go like that, I've got slider bars. So
Yeah.
to stop that, I've just got to make it big enough that I've got the whole eye.
Yeah, that's what it's showing me. It's that that won't allow me to move it anywhere. It's just that in that corner. It won't let me pull it or move it. And
Well,
it's not got, see if I press, oh, there we go. Right. I don't know why it keeps changing, dropping into there. Okay. Yep, that's fine. I've got that now.
good. Now we're going to show you how to chart. So
Yep.
I want you to go up to where it says chart. You can see a little eye image far left side.
Yep.
And have you got a right or a left eye?
Left.
Okay, so you're going to press L. I'm going to press R because I have a right eye here.
Yep.
And that's going to give me 3 rings.
Yep.
And this is not a circus. Boom, boom. Too early for them jokes. All right. So now most people think that what you've got to do is line the pupil first. Bam, wrong.
Okay.
We always line the outside of the eye first. So you can change the size of these individual rings just by putting your mouse on it and dragging it in or out. But we want you to make the circle approximately the same size as the eye. And then by putting your mouse in the center of the middle circle, you can drag the whole chart.
Okay.
That. So you're not lining up the pupil, you're lining up the outside of the eye first. And the reason for that is that pupils are usually not in the center. 99% of eyes are shifted medially.
Yeah.
So if you were to line up the pupil, your chart would be off the iris. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Right. So we're going to line up the outside ring first.
Yep.
As best as you can. Now it is usual to have a little bit of iris missing up here and down here, and that's because most eyes are slightly ovoid in shape, not perfectly round. All right, so now what we want to do is get this here pupil ring in place. So we're just going to go from left to right as we load the chart.
Yeah.
So select offset center. And now if you put your mouse in the middle of the ring, only 2 rings will move.
Ah, clever. Yep.
Yeah. So you're going to line up the pupil.
And make the circle smaller.
Yeah. Now when you try and do that, watch what happens. It jumps.
Yep.
That's a reminder to tell you that you're still using the offset center icon. So to readjust your chart, you just unclick that and then you can change this in size.
I see. Okay. So put that on there, unclick it, and then move the pupil ring. Oh, look at that. And it makes the parietal cells, you can see them.
Yes, I know.
Now they've just suddenly popped out and I've gone,
Isn't that awesome? So now we want to trace the collarette.
Yep.
So what you'll notice is if I've got the collarette on the outside part of it, the inside is all inside. So if I pull it on the inside part of it, then there are parts that are outside the ring. So we want to trace it. So if we go to the next icon in the right, which is, it's got an icon with zigzag lines on it.
Yep.
All we do is trace the peaks and points of the collarette.
Okay, I pressed the wrong one. Oh.
Which one?
I pressed the wrong one and now it's thrown a chart on. Let me get
that's okay. So
Get
just press that again. No, you just press it again and again. That would be good. Now I'm actually going to press that ring because my line is sort of covering the area that I need to see. So if I go to this next switch overlay between full and minimal display, it disappears and I just see the dots. So whenever I press my mouse, I'm putting a dot on the collarette.
Yes.
And I'm going to trace around the collarette just by looking at the peaks and troughs. And I'm going to go all the way around, and you can do this too. And you can do this in front of your clients because they're really quite fascinated by what you're doing, and you can explain along the way. And I've just noticed in my picture, I've got a bridged collarette, and that's another indication. There's another bridge.
Yeah.
That's another indication that this boy who's got pancreas lacuna also has a bridge. So I'm definitely going to have to talk to him about managing his risk factors.
Yeah. So can I just need to go back a little step because when I pressed that wrong button. So now I've got all three rings in the place.
Yeah.
Then I go to the zigzaggy adjust middle collarette ring.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared.
Correct. So you just start clicking on the collarette and you'll see little tiny dots.
Yeah. And then that ring jumps back in again. So the dots are coming, but that ring has reappeared.
Okay, so move to the button on the right, which says switch overlay between full and minimal display.
Yeah.
And it'll either go to a full chart or 3 rings or no chart.
I see. So now I've gone to no chart.
Okay.
Yeah. And then now I just click around on the collarette.
Yeah.
And you can quite clearly see which parts are really thick and which parts disappear.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky eye I chose because a lot of it does disappear.
So it's a good thing for you too while you're doing this because you're noticing the features of the collarette that you can talk about.
Yeah.
As far as shape and quality and structure of it, positioning.
And when we can't see an actual collarette ring, we can just use where the inside of the collarette fibres end, can't we? That's the indication.
Correct. And so it is your call. I mean, you're the expert. You're the one that you're making your determination of where you think the collarette is. And, you know, the more you get to do this, the more trained your eye becomes.
Yeah.
So when you start, you might not be 100% accurate, but you're going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
And then as you get more experience, you'll start to see features that you might have missed when you first started because you're just getting used to looking at eyes because eyes are very different from anything else that you're going to look at.
Yeah.
So much to take in. But the benefit of this program is that it really enhances your assessment ability.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at fine detail on a big screen with a tool that charts what you're looking at.
Yeah, definitely. If I need to remove some of those red dots, how do I do that?
You're better to just start again.
Okay.
I mean, you can do it, but it's messy and it's actually easier when you start. I mean, I can do it because I've done thousands of them.
Yeah.
But when you're first starting, it's much quicker to just start again.
So how would I start again if I needed to?
Yeah, you just press this one here again, the zigzaggy one, and it'll go back to just a circle.
Okay.
And then press it off again to start over.
Yeah.
So when I look at this chart, so let's have a look at what I've done. I've actually, when I traced that collarette, it's adjusted the chart algorithmically.
Yeah.
So what it's done is it's adjusted the amount of space from here to this peak.
Yeah.
And it's stretched the amount of space from here to this peak. So it's really accommodated the structure of this collarette so that I've fitted the eye perfectly along with the integrated iridology chart. So, but there is something happening here, and that is there's a little letterbox icon just next to the print icon.
Yep.
It's called the floating status panel. And I can point to any tiny feature and it tells me what I'm looking at. So if I was wondering where this is, it tells me it's in the kidney zone, or here in the thyroid gland, or this tiny one on the hand, or this one on the ribs. And when you show this to your clients, they are in awe, because they'll just go, oh, I can't believe that. Like, how did you do that? But one thing that you might notice is at the moment, my client has testes and ovaries.
Yep.
So we have a feature which enables us to select the gender.
Okay. Yep.
And this is actually a guy, so I'm going to make him a man. I did actually make him a man. And then I'm going to lock it. And the reason I'm going to lock it is so that I can keep it on file with the chart loaded when I save it.
And how did you lock it? I missed that one.
Just with the lock sign.
Oh, the lock, yeah.
If I wanted to remove the whole chart and start again, I go one more to the right on the X sign and that will remove it.
Okay. So you go to lock. Beautiful. And then you said when you've locked it, what does that do then?
Well, it means that I can actually store this eye in the program and it will keep the chart on it.
Perfect. So when you save that in the program, can I then select that and send it somewhere or put it in a different file? This is for your use only. So you can send the iris images, but they will not have a chart on them. Okay. Cool.
Unless you take a screenshot of that chart. But it doesn't really mean too much to people who haven't trained in iridology because they see lines and what does that mean?
Yeah.
But for instance, if there was a point of interest, so say for instance, I wanted to show that that I was looking at an area of interest. So this is the pancreas. I could do a screenshot of this eye with the floating status panel saying pancreas lower lateral.
Yeah.
And I can just say like, you have this lacuna in the pancreas sector.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about the history on your father's side of the family because it's in his right eye. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what is even more impressive is if I was to take my chart off, and I can tell I've got my chart on because it's got the clock face on it, and then I point to the pancreas, they can see quite clearly. If you did a screenshot, you'd have the arrow from the mouse pointing to the area, and the floating status panel is telling me where that is. That's the pancreas. And
so how did you get rid of the overlay?
Just by using this button here. Which
so just took it back off, but it still leaves the time on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
That lets me know that I've got a chart on there.
Oh, look. Oh, my goodness. I just did that and it left my collarette in there.
Yep.
Brilliant.
So to save it.
Duodenum. I knew I had a problem there. I knew that was my issue. Oh, my goodness. And there as well. Oh, What's that one? This is so clever because it's really breaking down the stomach. I mean, and most people, you know, want to do a lot more with, you know, digestive health, and that is just, look at that. Brilliant. How clever.
Yep. So to save it, you're going to go over here to your details section on the right-hand side of the screen.
Let me just see where you are.
So I'm to the right of the...
Oh, yep. Details. Yep.
And see where it is a plus button?
Yep.
It says there, insert record.
Yep.
So I'm going to press insert record and it will automatically generate a number.
Yep.
And then I'm going to put the name in.
Yep.
And then I'm just going to assign this eye. So if I was to just go, if I went file save, it would save this image, but no chart. But if I have my person's name in there and I assign the eye, it's going to come up to my client list, because that's where I put these, and it already has his name and it knows it's a right eye and today's date, and I'm just going to go save.
Sign the eye, images. Oh. And I see, yep, so it's saving it into that program, into images, save, yep.
Okay, and then I repeat with my left eye.
Yep.
Now to make this lesson more efficient, I'm going to just quickly do this while you watch me.
Yep.
So I'm going to just, first of all, adjust to the right size, then move all 3 units to the outside area. So it's always outside first.
Yep.
Then I'm going to use the offset center button.
Yep.
Which moves just the 2 sides,
yep.
and adjust that and fit it onto the collar, onto the pupil. Next, I'm going to the zigzag line and I'm going to trace the collarette. I'm going to go to the next button so that I don't have to look at the collarette while I mean the ring while I'm tracing.
Yep.
And I'm going to trace the outline of the collarette. Just, you know, just paying attention to any features where it juts in or out, so that I've got as accurate as I can. And I'm making a mental note, there's another bridge there.
If you, just in terms of the iridescent, if there wasn't a bridge there, would you have taken that all the way down? Right down to the bottom?
How do you mean? Right.
So,
down here?
Yeah. If that bridge wasn't there, what would you do?
Well, I would, if that wasn't there, I would have gone here and considered this as a break.
Yeah.
I would have gone there.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so I've got that done. I'm going to make him a man.
Yeah.
Lock the chart. Whoops, invalid point. What have I done? Now, male gender and lock. So then I'll make it the chart invisible, and I've now got. I'm going to assign this eye. Assign it, and it's going to be left eye on today's date. Sign.
Yeah.
Good. And so now I have a left eye and a right eye.
Yeah. And
I can go full screen, so I can go to view full screen, which is very powerful. Actually, if I was also to open the floating status panel and go view full screen, this is where the magic really happens, because I can go to all these different markings and tell exactly where they are
Yeah.
while I'm having a discussion with them. And they'll sit there mesmerised because there's no arguing with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one last thing I want to show you. How do I get out of that? Yeah, that's it. You may want to do a report, and there is a reporting program that you can get. So the way that we do that is we have two eyes open on the screen.
Yeah.
If you had more than two eyes open, which sometimes happens, and you try to do this function, it will say to you, you can only have two eyes open at the same time.
Okay.
So you can't make mistakes with this computer program. It tells you what you need to do. So I'm going to highlight, and this is the only thing that you have to remember. Whichever eye is highlighted, it will go to the left-hand side of your screen. So you want to highlight the right eye, because if you look at me, my right eye is on your left.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to go image, stitch. And I can either stitch from top to bottom or left to right. For me, I prefer left to right because I'm going to insert these eyes into a report, and it's better to look at them as a set.
Yeah.
So here again, I can also go view full screen. And this is a marvelous talking point, you know, like we don't need the status bar because right now you can't read the charts. If once they've been stitched, they lose their charts. They just become normal photographs. But see, you can see the impact that that would have. Like you can discuss the colour, you can discuss the collarette, you can discuss the open fibres inside the collarette, and discuss, you know, various digestive issues that are indicated by this open weave. And especially this Romheld syndrome here, we'd talk about that as well. I mean, people's minds are literally blown when they see this sort of stuff. And you can then save this. Now, if I was to assign eye, I'll show you how you don't make a mistake, because it says iris must have overlay loaded and locked.
Okay, yeah.
So in this case, we aren't able to save it assigning it as an eye. So we're going to file save it as we would normally do. Save, and it remembers the name of the person who you've got open.
Oh, brilliant.
And notice it hasn't got right or left, it's just got today's date.
Yeah.
For me, I always put ST, which means stitch, and save it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you something really cool. So I'm going to close this eye. I'm going to close this eye, and I'm going to close this eye. And notice I've got his name up, number 3, display eyes. And we have a left eye, we have a right eye, and we have, we're supposed to have the stitched eye. I don't know why that didn't happen, but that's what usually does happen.
Yeah.
And if I was looking for a client, there's a looking glass sign on the far right, find client, and we can find our clients this way and open up somebody else. So there's a loaded default. Display eyes, other images. So that's an example of how it works.
Yep.
So I think there's plenty to go on with.
Yep, beautiful. I'm just going to play around with that.